Hi, everybody. Everyone from East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between. Yeah. Welcome back to Coffee and Me. My name is Tracey Pacheco Medeiors, and I am a suicide attempt survivor, state certified peer specialist, author, and trainer. I have a BA in psychology with a concentration in addictions. I am also a suicide loss survivor and impacted family and friend of others who experience ideation. My soul care and coping skills include woodworking, diamond art. I love my minions and motorcycles. And can you guess? Stephen King, always open for a good horror. A couple of weeks ago, I shared that a clinician stopped by our resource table and at our mass suicide prevention conference and thanked me for being part of a plenary session at the conference several years ago. Um, I am always startled to learn that 5 years later that what we do and what we present does matter and makes a difference. Even if I don't realize it in the moment, as I've shared before, what is still hard, a very hard lesson for me to learn is to not to be, caught up in how many people are in the room or read what you wrote or come up and say thank you. Um, just continue to speak up and speak out. We share our lived experience in a way that offers hope to others because we never know who is listening, who is reading, or even watching the video, right? So we don't know. So our voices matter. First and foremost, our voices matter. Our lived experience matters. We do make a difference. Over the years, I've talked with many parents who ask about ideation. What is it? What does it look like? Does it always lead to a suicide attempt or other forms of self harm? Ideation, like recovery, is messy, and there is no cookie cutter, one size fits all. And that's another reason it's so important for more of us to speak up. When I share what ideation feels like for me, and that it doesn't always have to be the big, drastic change, ideation can be less obvious. Parents look at me and say, no one ever told me that. They went over those checklists, you know? So now let me refresh my background. I completed the process to be certified to deliver a QPR, question, persuade, refer, more than sad teen depression, and assist the applied suicide intervention skills training that I always consider the boot camp training. That's the big one. Maybe, just maybe, you know, it's time to make a radical shift and step away from that approach and move toward informational community conversations with lived experience people like me at the table. I'm not suggesting we trash, all the formal trainings and stuff. They definitely have their place. However, when I read that we lost 50,000 souls to suicide in the US and more than 12 million more experience some of the ideation, my gut tells me that we need to be sitting down with the families in a more informational community conversation at Miss Wellness Workshops 10 years ago. And this was one of the reasons that we began because I stayed. This series, we started it in 2023. So we can share how we found ways to take suicide off the table. In one volume, I'm sorry, not in one volume, volume one, in that volume, I shared what I learned from an old Christmas film, It's a Wonderful Life. Now, I do matter and I make a difference in the lives of others, in that I do have many people who have been my saving angels. Volume two will be hot off the Amazon presses within a couple of weeks. And I'm so excited that it's going to launch soon. FYI, Anne Marie trashed the first version of Volume 2. Of course she did, right? And completely rewrote it. She does that sometimes in this version. Other attempt survivors share how, and why they stayed. Ideation can be confusing to families, so we're going to focus on that volume 3, right? So the third volume, which will be out in May, we need to bring this conversation out of the shadows. I'll never forget how terrified that they had to take them to the ER for ideation or an attempt. They felt others would label them as bad parents. And believe me, not bad parents. In some cases, their neighbors were having the same experience. Everyone was afraid to talk about it. And you know what? That really sucks, man. That sucks. My parents did not know how to help me. No one ever taught them about mental health. If I had the flu, they knew exactly what to do. As communities, we need to do better to support these families. Please don't label us as gatekeepers. And the word training needs to be dropped. Families need information. Yes, they need information. This is what they're looking for. Because we know, and I know that you know, that words matter. And we all know that. We do have a Facebook page for Because I Stayed. Look it up, go there. Okay, go there, look it up and go there. Tell us about the coping skills that have helped you, and so others can see that they are not the only ones having this experience. You can check out Because I Stayed on Instagram as well. If you are in crisis, call or text 988. Okay, so guess what? I'm going to stop there. We need to speak up together. Okay, together. We need to do this together because all the voices matter. So let's be loud. Can you hear me now? So let's be loud. And as Dr. Quinn Galloway Salazar urges us to, she says, be bold. So let's be bold along with being loud, right? Thanks for sitting at the table with me. See you next week. Peace out, everybody.